Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia and I'm the owner of Alicia Be Creative. In today's video, I wanted to do a really easy and simple beginner friendly tutorial for anybody who has been kind of scared to use UV DTF. I know I use a lot of it on my channel, especially when it comes to making cups, but you can use UV DTF on any hard surface. So I thought I'd put together this really simple and cute DIY notebook using just a notebook that I purchased off of Amazon and of course some UV DTF. And I want to show you how cute and simple crafting can be. So of course, everything I used in today's video will be listed and linked down in the description box down below. But let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right, so let's get started. So we are going to be using this hardcover notebook that I purchased from Amazon. I will link the one that I purchased down in the description box. I personally decided to purchase it in this pink color, but it does come in several other colors. It is an A5 style and sized notebook. It does have hardcovers on both of the edges and it's spiral bound. So we're of course just going to very easily slip off this additional section here after removing the plastic from it, and we're literally going to get started. So the one thing that I'm not going to do on this notebook is I'm not going to do any sort of prep work. Now, something you could do prep work wise is for hard surfaces, you may want to just wipe them down with like rubbing alcohol or something just to clean off any oils and things that may have collected from your hands. But being that this is literally right off out of the packaging and I haven't done much handling with it, we're going to go right into applying our UV DTF. So I have these absolutely gorgeous floral outline UV DTF. I got these from Flint Sister Supply Shop, and so I thought this would be like the perfect look on the front of the notebook. And so I'm going to show you how we're going to apply these. So I often get many questions about applying UV DTF and how to do it sort of easily, you know, in a more seamless way, because I think that sometimes UV DTF can be just a little bit intimidating for new crafters. But what I love about UV DTF is these are permanent decals. And so all you're going to do to apply your UV DTF, I personally like to cut apart my UV DTF to make it easier to apply in smaller sections versus trying to work with larger sections. But what you're going to do is you're going to take that section of UV DTF that you're applying to your hard surface. You're going to remove the backing of it. The actual ink is what is going to stick to your item. Then you're going to push that piece down, the sticky side down, really rub that down. I just use my hands, but you can use like a squeegee tool or something just flat that will push that down. Once it's pushed down, you're just going to very carefully and slowly remove that top carrier sheet by just pulling that corner edge. I usually pull it toward me, because I find that I have less issues with that UV DTF coming back up. Now, in the event that the UV DTF sort of starts to pull back up, it just means that you didn't push down enough to get that UV DTF to adhere to your surface. So just go push that carrier sheet directly back down, smooth out that section that was not adhered, and then again proceed with removing that section of carrier sheet back off the UV DTF. I love UV DTF because you can use them on so many different surfaces. So any surface that is considered a hard surface, you can apply UV DTF to. You often will see me using it on tumblers because that is typically my favorite medium of, you know, projects to work on, but I've put these on notebooks as you're seeing today. I've also put them on my vehicle. You could put them on your refrigerator. You could put them on a clipboard for a teacher or for yourself. So you really can do some really fun things with UV DTF. And what's amazing too is that there are so many vendors out there, and I'll list a couple of my favorite down in the description box, that print UV DTF. So you could have your own images created and printed custom from these different vendors. So that is also another thing that I really love. Some of the things that I think that can be a little bit of a struggle with UV DTF is UV DTF is not forgiving. So once you have it placed down, unfortunately, wherever it's stuck down is where it's going to stay. This is a permanent decal, and so it does not easily remove from the surface that you are trying to remove it off of, and then be able to place it back in a different spot. So differently with something like a removable vinyl, where you can sometimes peel those vinyl pieces up and place them somewhere different. UV DTF does not give you that opportunity to do so. It is permanent, so where you stick it is where it's gonna stay. So just something to think about before you commit to laying that piece of UV DTF down. What I love about the UV DTF that I'm showing you today is they do have that clear backing, so you can kind of do a pre-placement with that back sheet on to kind of see how you want that UV DTF section to be placed on your item before you commit to peeling the backing off. But in the event that it's, sometimes the UV DTF is sold with a white backing, I do think that, similar to what we would do before with vinyl, just kind of like placing it up and making sure it's kind of even and measuring if you want it to be centered in things, you can still get a really good result. So I'm kind of finished with the cover here, and then I want to show you further what I'm doing with this notebook. So I know that I said you typically would put these on hard surfaces, but we're actually going to put this on the inside of the notebook as well. So this is the mental health post-it note wrap that I have available on my website. I will link it down in the description box down below, but we're actually going to apply these to the inside pages in just a few random places. They're just some really motivating and positive quotes, and I thought this was just perfect for a notebook. And we're going to place these actually on the pages inside of the notebook. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. You're actually going to watch me because I want to show you guys my mistakes. Now, sometimes I do things that, aren't perfect, and so that's what I'm going to show you right now. But then I'm also going to show you how you still can achieve this look without struggling. So now this UV DTF that I'm using is a double-sided UV DTF, which means that if you put this on like a glass can or something, you would be able to see it on both sides of the can. But this is me applying it to a piece of paper and realizing that the carrier sheet is going to pull up my piece of paper. Not remembering, of course, that the carrier sheet is sticky too, not just the UV DTF. So to fix that, what I ended up doing is I am going to cut really closely around my UV DTF first. Now, these are, pretty square shaped sections, right? So I don't have a lot of carrier sheet like the front pieces where the floral outlines were, where the carrier sheet would obviously then also be stuck on those inner portions of the outline. Because this is a solid section, I really am able to cut pretty closely to that image before I place it down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place that down where I want it to be. And I picked up the carrier sheet a little bit in the corner just to make sure I had something to grip onto to remove it. And then I'm going to remove that carrier sheet. Now, I ended up taking this a little bit of a step further, okay? And because these were already pretty thick, like UV DTF, because it's, it's like a perfect square there, I ended up, and you'll see me kind of later in this part of the video, I end up actually just removing the back sheet, and then peeling that section completely from the carrier sheet and then placing it like a sticker. It worked perfectly, which I absolutely loved that it worked perfectly. But obviously some of your other UV DTF may not work like this. Some of your larger pieces that can easily kind of be held definitely will be able to do this like I'm showing you here. So I've literally pulled both sheets off, the back sheet and the carrier sheet, before I'm placing it. But some of your smaller pieces, right? Like the outline of the florals, that's not going to work on something like notebook paper because there are sections of that carrier sheet that is sticky that would still end up stuck to your paper hopefully that makes sense. So this is kind of how I'm just decorating this notebook. I'm literally just picking random pages and I am applying it throughout. And so I chose to do this tutorial because number one, I am trying to get back to the basics here on my channel and remembering that not everybody has been crafting for years and knows some of the things that I've grown knowledge and knowing as I've become a crafter and been crafting for many years. And so I want to be able to bring some really fun, simple DIY craft activities that you can do for anybody who's just kind of starting out in the world of crafting and really just trying to decide like what they're interested in and what they enjoy and what they like. And so I'm going to be doing a lot more of these tutorials on my channel moving forward, because again, I want to kind of go back to basics, right? I feel like sometimes we're kind of pushing ourselves to like advance and like do all this fun, crazy stuff, right? So that we can put a tutorial together. But sometimes we just need to keep it simple. You know what I mean? And so I do hope that this is super helpful. So obviously there's not a whole lot happening in this tutorial other than this, but I do want to just reiterate that UV DTF are kind of like the newest thing on the market, right? We've seen these for quite a while now, but I know that there are many of my followers and subscribers here on YouTube that are still kind of leery about using UV DTF. But I will tell you, just go for it. I know there's always that worry, right, and fear that you might, you know, accidentally place a UV DTF down and you can't remove it. But that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. Like you saw on that very first page, it's perfectly fine to make mistakes. That's kind of the joy of crafting. Not everything needs to be perfect, and it shouldn't be perfect because that is how we learn. So that is it for today's tutorial. I think this is kind of like a fun and unique kind of gift idea. I think it's a great last minute gift when you need one. I also think that these would be super cute and popular for like teachers, like making maybe a planner or something of that nature with decorative UV DTF on the front and back, a clipboard also. There are just so many fun things that you can do with UV DTF and simple things that you use every single day. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give this video a huge thumbs up, and I'll see you guys again in the next one. Bye!